What is happening out there, man?
Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas to all. The day that this comes out, Thursday, I'm flying home tomorrow on Friday. Just a nice family time we're about to spend. It's going to rain now, I think, in St. Louis instead of snow. It used to snow, kind of old man. I used to walk both ways uphill to school, but it's going to snow. It's not going to snow. It's going to rain. Everybody roots for a white Christmas, especially my mother. She loves Christmas more than anything on the planet. So I would love a white Christmas, but I think it's just going to rain. Regardless, it is Christmas time. We're in a weird place with this podcast. We've recorded 3 podcasts in a row. One of them we recorded before, but it's going to go out next week. So we're kind of all messed up. We do that every year where we trick ourselves chronologically. But we're as immersed in the holiday season as you could possibly be. So Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everybody. I'm also flying home the day this podcast comes out. I'll be back in Cedar Rapids for a few days, and I would say this will be my 34th Christmas, if that's right. Yeah, that's right. I wonder what my batting average for white Christmases are. I bet there's been like 8 white Christmases. It just never ever hits. It's what you want. I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. I've got the Yule log on my TV right now. Like, I love the holidays and I love Christmas. And a white Christmas is what you want, but we rarely get it. And I really do miss it. We're definitely not getting one this year. I think it's going to be 52 degrees in Cedar Rapids on Christmas.
Oh, dude, we had, how about one year we had, I don't know if I've told this on the show or not. I have a huge family. My mom's one of 12 kids. My dad's one of 6 kids. Everybody's got, significant others and families of their own. So I've got more cousins and aunts and uncles than you could possibly imagine. But my mom's side of the family, which is massive, Christmas Eve. It's just, everybody's kind of got their slot on their sides of the family. It's Christmas Eve. The night starts at like 5, and we do supper and we do presents and the whole deal and whatever. And like 15 or 20 years ago, one of my relatives, and we kind of rotate who would host. There was a blizzard on Christmas Eve, which was awesome. Everybody's fired up about it. And these relatives, they just canceled Christmas. They called everyone and were like, it's too dangerous outside, so Christmas is off.
You can't do that.
Christmas with the cranks.
Can't do that.
It's like, nope. And Christmas is on. We're just going to host. And so then we took Christmas Eve, and for like 10 years straight, maybe longer, we just hosted Christmas Eve because one of our relatives tried to cancel Christmas because of a blizzard, and everybody was jacked up being like, it's a blizzard. I couldn't be more excited for Christmas if I tried. And I think that was maybe the last time we had a white Christmas. I mean, it's been a long time in St. Louis, long time we had a white Christmas, maybe a sneaky one here or there, but I'm with you. It's like maybe 10% of the time we get a white Christmas.
Yeah. New York white Christmases used to be like, that was the thing. It was the movie scene. And like, I used to love like the week before we'd go into the city if it was snowing, and you'd like go see the tree and the snow would be falling, and you're like having hot chocolate, and you're like, holy shit, this is what people travel the world to come see this, and it's like 35 minutes away from our house. It's pretty cool. You just don't get that anymore. Like, you go there now and it's fucking packed and it's warm and everyone's like sweating, taking their jackets off. It's like, and I'm not saying that's like, I'm assuming that it's always been like that. It's just very rare to get a white Christmas. It felt like that was the thing. You'd go into the city and the snow would be falling and you'd see the tree, and it's very, very rare.
I might be like an anti-environment guy. I don't know, but I think it's probably worth it for the extra week of golf that you get on the East Coast these days. Like, didn't it used to, it used to be, I feel like you're playing golf now through Thanksgiving pretty consistently, was that always the case when you were growing up, or is there noticeable difference?
Is the environment actually getting that much different?
I don't know. I like the narrative though.
Like, I always see both sides of the argument on like social media where they're like, it's always like been 50 degrees in December. You just didn't realize it.
Well, what people are throwing around now this year, because it is so warm and it was 60 degrees last time we recorded this podcast, is something about El Nino. This is an El Nino year. So
whatever that means.
I don't know. These are the things that I don't know, but that's apparently the reason why it's warmer this year. I don't have like a wide enough, do we even have like enough of a context to put all of it in? I don't know.
I mean, there's definitely stats that are like the 8 hottest years on record, or like, in the last 15 years or something like that.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
I've seen that. That's one side of the argument that I have seen on social media.
The record, I will say, hasn't been that long.
Right.
Like comparatively, even if it's been 1,000 years, this thing's been around for 4.5 billion.
That's what I meant by context. You don't really know.
Yeah. Now, I'm a big believer the environment's changing, and I think like California is just not going to exist in our like children's lifetime. It's just going to be gone.
Sorry, Dan.
Fuck them. They can move. Fuck
Which
'em.
is
You should be
not the
living in
worst
an
thing I've ever heard.
inferno 360 days a year.
It's no problem. It's super lit until then.
Chevrolet, baby. Nice little clap for Chevrolet. What a year from them. What a year from our presenting sponsor here on the Fore Play Golf Podcast from the best in the electric vehicle game. The folks that have been doing it for over a decade at this point, making cars, iconic cars that you know, that you love, that you trust here in America for over 100 years. Chevrolet, the bow tie. Please let us know, as we talked about. I think we talk about an upcoming show, but either way, if someone for Christmas gets a Chevy with a bow on it, or a holiday gift, we would love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. And what you're going to love to see are the vehicles that are all electric at Chevy.com/electric.
Yeah, the bow is something we really want to see. If you're listening to this and you got a Chevy for someone and you've been hiding it, I don't know where you hide a car, but I'm sure that's a nightmare.
Man. They would. The only place I've ever seen a car hidden is Bob Barker behind those little walls, and then they would spin them.
Yeah.
The Price is Right. I don't know if anybody has that handy at their home. Probably That'd be unlikely.
Probably not, but yeah, I struggle just wrapping gifts and not being caught like little fucking boxes of clothes. I can't imagine having to hide that Chevy. But if you are doing that, we want to see a picture. We want to see the video. We want to see the whole entire thing. I want to see that commercial in real life. I've never experienced that. Walking outside, seeing the car, bow on top of it. If you do that for a Chevy, we want to see it. We'll post it. We'll love it. Make sure that you tag us and you send it over.
Yeah, they've been at Chevy. They've been selling EVs, hybrids, all electrics for over a decade. You know them, you trust them. They support us. Let's go support them. Big fans of Chevy. So big thanks to Chevy for the entire year. Learn more. Those of you listening right now, learn more. Pull up your browser and go to. Don't pull up your browser. It's a totally different browser. Pull up your browser and go to Chevy.com/electric. That is Chevy.com/electric.
Frankie's hungover. Frankie, we appreciate you battling.
Yeah, Frankie's very hungover.
Islander game, shorthanded goal. Apparently put him over the top. That'll do it.
Did. Shorthanded goal, put me over the top. And the guy who scored its name is Simon Holmstrom. His initials are SH, and he's leading the league in shorthanded goals. I think there's something to think about with that. I don't know why they haven't come up with some sort of nickname or T-shirt. It's literally SH, Simon Holmstrom. Maybe call him Shorty Holmstrom. I don't know. But we got to figure this out because the guy has 5 shorthanded goals this year. They're only 30-something games into the season. That's an astonishing number.
Call him Simon
He has more
Birch.
shorthanded goals than most teams have, like, fully combined.
It is astonishing. Shorthanded goals never happen. Never.
And dude, every time they have a penalty kill, he's like, they go on a 2-on-1. You're like, is he going to do it again? And they fucking did it last night. Like a 2-on-1, Pajot pass to him. Dude, the announcer, John Buccigross, and Islanders won. They beat the fucking Oilers. It was an amazing win. I got so shit-faced. I had to leave my car at UBS. It's something I'm dealing with today. I have to go all the way back to Elmont to go get my car. I made the right decision. I took the Uber home. But man, does that suck now. I'm hungover. I don't feel good. I puked last night. And now I got to go all the way back to fucking Elmont. It was way easier when they were at the Coliseum. It's crazy that I got to go back. But John Buccigross was like, as they're on the 2-on-1, he's like, is he going to do it again? Like they're calling for it. And he did it. And his call was so good. He goes, holy shnikes, another shorthanded goal. I thought that was funny. It made me laugh this morning. Holy shnikes is a great announcer call. Holy shnikes? Never heard that in my life.
That's isn't that Matt Foley, Chris Farley, holy shnikes? Am I misremembering that?
Yeah, I think
holy
I do.
Shnikes. He's pulling up his pants. He's falling through coffee tables. I think that was him. But still a good
man down by the river.
Yeah,
it's a lonely trip when you got to go get the car and you're very proud of yourself, but also mad at yourself. Like you're mad at like before drunk you because you're like, why didn't we didn't have to get drunk enough to where like we didn't have to drink and not be able to drive or didn't bring the car. We could have made a better decision, but at the end you made the right decision.
The decision to drive and be like, oh, I don't want to take an Uber to the game. I don't want to spend the money to go there. I'll just drive. Like it'll be fine. And now I am spending that money in the Uber the next day and having to drive back. I'm doing double the amount of work I didn't want to do yesterday. And that just sucks, but it is what it is. You know, it's just, it's the holiday season. I'm not going to let it take me down. Today I'm down for sure. And I want to get into the Christmas spirit. I do. But today I am hurting bad. This
Holy
is a bad
Shnikes
one.
is from Tommy Boy when Bo Derek comes out of the pool. I just looked it up.
Shnikes.
You guys remember that movie? It's one of the great movies of all time. But yeah, no, you're
I
trying
bet
to get in the
she
holiday
dates one of
spirit.
the Yankees.
But yeah, there you go. Him and David Spade. You're just trying to get in the holiday spirit, but you're hungover. That's a tough spot to be in.
Real quick about like Christmas Eve, I have like a big week coming up. So it's always been that my parents had Christmas or Christmas Eve, and then now my wife, her family always has Christmas Eve. My sister, excuse me, there's gonna be a lot of that. My sister's birthdays.
Remember, if you got to puke, just puke.
I've always wanted to puke on camera. I've said that. I've always wanted to. I just think that's hilarious.
If you puke on the holiday show, that'd be fantastic for us.
It'd be awesome. My sister's birthday is Christmas Eve, and my wife's birthday is Christmas Eve. So it's a big week. It's a big week because of parties, and they are now we are hosting both essentially. So I'm hosting my family on Friday, the Friday before, so it's like the 22nd, and then I'm hosting their family on Christmas Eve. That's huge because like her family's had Christmas Eve for 29 years. This is like the first time that they're not having it at their house. Like there's been a whole discussion with the cousins about they're not having it at their aunt and uncle's house anymore. They're having it at ours, and it's like there's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? You got to
You're Clark
really
Griswold now.
I am like I'm having it now, and like this could be the beginning of a 30, 40, 50 year tradition. Yep. And you really got to set the tone, right? And like I can't be hungover for this. I have to make sure that I'm ready. At my state of mind right now, I can't believe I'm hosting people in 48 hours, starting it with my parents and my whole family. So it's a big back to back for me, and I'm excited about it. It's our first time doing it. Yeah, I'm going to use a lot of help though. Like my dad's bringing the food from Borelli's. He's bringing Strombolis. Like I don't have to be out there like cooking, but it's the whole hosting and making sure the vibes are up. That's the part I'm most nervous about.
The venue is important because I mean, there's no kids yet. It's just you guys and couples, but there's no young kids. But all of my early memories of Christmas Eve and Christmas they were at my grandma's, and then it moved to my aunt's. Like those are the strongest memories I have. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in my grandma's house. This is so cool. We're listening to Elvis on the record player, and there's decorations everywhere, and it felt like Christmas. That was the biggest thing. There were presents everywhere, and I have just vivid memories of that. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure to be the house that hosts.
There are kids that are going to be there, and like I have to it's got to be like it's her cousins have kids, and people are going to be. I have my niece and nephew coming. Like this is a place that if we're going to be doing this for the next 20, 30 years, this has to be a memorable place.
Dude, my grandma
have like the basement set up with something. Yep. Like the basement's got to have like the Switch going so that they can play video games down there. There's ping pong down there. Maybe they'll play that. I don't know. Maybe I put like an old like Playboy in a room or something. Maybe one of the kids finds it or something. Like that's a memory. You know what I mean? Like
you don't do it right. They're gonna be like, that Frankie is the worst.
But like you gotta do shit. Like when I was at my uncles, like you're saying, my grandparents, you always like found shit and like that's stuff that you remember. I don't have shit for them to find. It's just like it's a newly renovated like house. Like everything's kind of just like clean. There's nothing that they can like, dig into and like find. Maybe they can.
You don't need a Playboy. You need an iPod with the quad box playing in the bathroom.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get
my grandma just get racy. My grandma used to have her neighbor come over halfway through the night dressed up as Santa, and we would look forward to it every year. There'd be a knock on the door and Santa would show up on Christmas Eve. And it's just the coolest thing. And a big part of it is the music. You got to have music going the whole time. Christmas music the whole time. That's like the ambiance of the whole thing. I think you're going to do great.
My grandpa used to do a thing where he wouldn't even announce anything, but he would go outside and he would have a little elf hat and just go across the window. And you'd be like, what the fuck was that? But no one would really call out to it. And then like all the kids would start to be like, I think I fucking saw an elf run across that window. And like, no. And then we would all sit there. And then like an hour later, you'd see it again, have a little jingle. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Going crazy, like fucking drinking Gatorade, thinking about the quad box, like, there's a fucking elf out there.
Yeah. You got to think of something like that.
I gotta fall down the chimney or something. I'm gonna take this too seriously. I'm gonna light the house on fire and make you memories, baby.
Do you have decorations outside or is it all lit up?
Yeah, we got the whole place lit.
Okay, that's good. That's a good start.
It looks like it's a Christmas wonderland in here. I take it very seriously. I do. Garland everywhere, lights everywhere.
Good.
I'm sure you're a theatrical boy. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to have one thing, one twist, something up your sleeve.
There's got to be a twist.
Put your head together with Mr. Borelli. He's, I'm sure, a seasoned veteran in Christmas surprises. He's got to have something that's going to get the kids wide-eyed, where you're like, whoa. That's what you want.
That's tough. I know. A lot of pressure. We do karaoke. That's been the staple of my house since I've had it.
Okay.
Karaoke is always like a go-to, so I know that that'll be a memory for sure. Like it'll always have karaoke. That's like my thing. My dad, the first thing my dad got me at the house was this massive. I had an empty house. We had just bought it, no furniture in it. He came over the house. Usually, you get like a bottle of champagne. He brought over this 6 foot tall. Have you guys ever?
It's legit. Yeah, I've seen it.
6 foot tall karaoke machine. 6 feet. It's taller than me, and it's got 3 huge subwoofers on the bottom and a huge flat screen on the top of it, so you can play YouTube. It's the most incredible karaoke machine with wireless microphones. This thing shakes the house, and like you see all the words on the screen. I don't know where he fucking found this thing. He claims he found it at like Costco one day. It's crazy. So that's the big one.
I think at some point throughout the hosting, I think you get on the roof and you clatter a bit up there, and people are like, "What's going on?" And be like, "Oh, they're just checking out the houses, making sure they know their route for the night and for Christmas and Christmas Eve." I think that might be the twist you want.
Good clatter.
Walking on the roof and then I fucking fall and die.
You never know. It could happen. That's
Dude,
a good
our roof
story
is pretty easy to get to. Actually, I could walk out right here out of this podcast room, and it's like a flat part of the roof right here.
And just people be like, "Whoa, what's that?" And the kids are gonna get excited. What's going on?
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
Test run.
I like that. It's crazy, but I like it.
Christmas as an adult. Yeah, true. Christmas as an adult it's funny how it transitions into like justifiable drinking. I feel like like when you go out and meet your buddies or you're kind of playing like you feel a little bit guilty, but for whatever reason during Christmas, it's like the minute you show up, one of your cousins like puts a beer in your hand, and then every time one of your cousins or your uncle walks over towards the bar, like, "You need one?" You're like, yeah. Next thing you know, I mean, you've just felt wholesome. You're like wrestling with the kids and stuff. You're like, dude, I've had 12 fucking beers and it's like 5 p.m.
It really is. That is what it turns into. First half is magic when you're a kid, and then you're just like, all right, let's get drunk.
Hosting is also a lot of pressure of having to be you need a drink? That's going to be tough for me. Constantly pointing. Need a drink? Anyone need a drink? Going to anyone? Because you're constantly filling up glasses. You're constantly putting ice in glasses. You're making you're pouring whiskey. You're doing the whole thing. You're popping bottles of wine like crazy, and you're pointing. Need a drink? Every time you get off the couch. Anyone need anything?
Dan, what's your perspective on all this? What do you think about all this?
Never had Christmas for the first 25 years, 26 years, but Emma's family does both. Emma's mom is Jewish, her dad is Christian, so we do Christmas at her house with her grandparents. I love it. It's great. First year I like had this whole thing where I was like, oh, like Christmas won me over the first year. It's unbelievable. If you don't like Christmas, it's everything about Hanukkah. Hanukkah really was a thing when you were a kid because it was like, you wanted to feel like you had something. But then I feel like Hanukkah as an adult really loses its luster, where I feel like Christmas has done a really good job of, like you guys said, transitioning to a sort of new role in your life.
It's got staying power.
It's got staying power. Sure. Hanukkah kind of comes and goes like those fucking lights that only flicker for 8 days.
Hanukkah lost me when I was younger, when like my friends would get like
lost me.
Well, my friends would get like one night they'd get batteries. And then the next night they'd get like the back of a controller.
Yeah, it's a lot of piecemeal. You gotta wait.
I was like, just give the kid the Xbox. You know what I mean? Right. It's coming. Well, because I know it's coming. I want to go in there and play it. But now we just got batteries tonight.
Because in theory, you hear what Hanukkah is, and you're like, you get a gift every single night.
Incredible.
And as a kid who celebrates Christmas, I was just like, that sounds pretty incredible. That guy's going to get a bunch of gifts. And then it turns out to be, in some places, what you're talking about, Frankie, where it's like you just get little parts of it.
Did you do like the lead into a big gift, Dan? Did your parents do that?
First night was always a big gift. Second night was always the second biggest gift, and then we were just kind of done for the last 6 nights.
Then it was done.
Yeah. It's just you're
I like
not
that. That's way better.
You're not going to sit around a table for eight nights in a row.
You got to front load it. You got to front load your Hanukkah,
because like by the end of Christmas, you're even like, all right, I need my own space. You can't do that 8 nights in a row. You just cannot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd get carried away if I was celebrating Hanukkah. I would go all 8 nights, and then it'd just be unsustainable. It'd be like, this is crazy. It's 2 weeks of just chaos.
It's the
It
second
is also
holiday
interesting.
in
There's,
December.
there's like not that like the religious attachment, at least for my family in Christmas, isn't really there anymore. So there's still some aunts and uncles that'll go to Christmas mass, but largely, certainly my generation and my brothers and sisters and our cousins, we're just like, let's just get together, let's eat some good food, let's drink, and maybe we'll exchange some presents. But it's not much about what I guess what it was originally intended for, but it is what it is.
Golf is very simple for us. It's supposed to be fun. We're out there, have a great time. We built an entire thing here, an entire brand here about just having fun on the golf course, not taking it overly seriously, whipping up different games with your friends, gamifying the entire thing, whatever it might be. What makes that more fun is Fireball. The 50 milliliter shooters from Fireball, those nips. You don't need a shot glass. You don't need mixers. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You're out on the golf course. You grab a bunch of them either from the beverage cart, grab a bunch before you go, put them in your bag, pop that top, rip it back. Iconic cinnamon flavor. You're going to have a great time out there.
An amazing time. We talk about it a lot, but I have it not only on the golf course, but I have it at home when we're playing games. I'm always adding shots to everything. I just think it makes it more fun. It just gets the night going. And Fireball's super easy. These cold, I keep them in the freezer sometimes, like right before people come, and I get them nice and chilled. And I pop them out. These little nips. You rip these nips, man, and they're unbelievable how easy they go down. They're just so smooth. For the winter time, that cinnamon flavor, it just goes with the season. You see the tree, you drink the cinnamon. Cinnamon's good on the rim of a beer. It's also good just in a shot. You know, cinnamon just does well at this time of the year.
This is cinnamon. This is cinnamon o'clock, and on the golf course too. You might be sneaking in some extra rounds. It's cold. It's rainy. There's no feeling quite like it being cold outside. You're warm inside, and that's because of Fireball whiskey.
Warms you up immediately.
Man, this last weekend I had 3 buddies in town. We did a lot. We played golf. We also just hung out here at the apartment. We ordered food, and as we're kind of drinking, watching games, we were gambling on games, having a good time. We just, over and over, every hour or so, somebody say, you know what we could really use right now? Let's get this energy up. Let's grab a shot. We were doing shots of Fireball, which is absolutely delicious. So the Fireball 50 milliliter shooters, they're the perfect shot for the golf course. You're looking to up the ante on the course this weekend, at a holiday party this weekend, anywhere this weekend, or anytime really. Make sure to grab a 10-pack of Fireball shooters.
Trent, are you going back to the hotel? Another hotel stay?
Yeah, when I'm in Cedar Rapids, I've been doing the hotel.
Very nice.
That is
really like it.
That's a chapter that I just will never get to. That I would love to get to.
And it
Just pull the trigger, dude.
Like,
Just do it this year.
They will cry hysterically for hours and days and weeks.
See, we're in a different situation, I think, because my brother would let me stay, but he doesn't care. He's like, he really doesn't care either way. And it's like, yeah, if you want to stay, you can, but if you want to go to a hotel, who cares? And personally, I just love my own space. Like, I love hanging out with everybody. I'm with my brothers and sisters. I'm with my mom and dad. I'm with my aunts and uncles. And then I can pull back and just sit in a hotel room. That is, wow, that's a chef's kiss, as opposed to,
Well, I mean,
sometimes you're at the place that is hosting the event, and then you're like, all right, I got to sleep here. When is everybody going to leave? What's the whole situation here? So having your own space is the best.
your aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters, they're going to leave the house. They're like, why can't you do the same? You know what I mean? Like, you're all just going to, at some point, people are going to leave that party, and you could just do the same.
Listen, I've run through
every
every
visiting means nothing.
I've run through every justification. I've even said, like Trent saying, it makes the time that we spend together better.
Yep.
Because I'm happy to be
Why
there.
does it matter where you sleep?
It's just, it matters, man. It matters to Karen, and her name's literally Karen, and that's why it matters.
Amazing. I got.
That's so funny. My mother-in-law's name is Karen too. That's fucking wild.
She doesn't think it's funny at all. Does yours?
Like the way that society has taken their name. And
I'm like, oh, Karen. She's like, it's really not funny. It's my name. I'm like, okay.
No, I think she does find it funny.
I think I would be pissed if like the Brads and the Chads were the Trents. I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, your name is ruined. Your name's ruined.
Don't be a Karen.
I would show up and my name's Brad, and they're like, oh, this guy's gonna drink, take his shirt off. And,
yeah,
like, haze a freshman.
Don't ice me, dude. Brad walks into a door. It's like, Jesus, dude, relax. Dude. It's a Tuesday. It's like, what the fuck?
I'm thinking about that more. I would be legitimately pissed if society decided like this is what you are because we just made this up out of nowhere. Karen, you're the one who's going to call the police on people being a little bit too loud, and like you're going to yell at a Starbucks. It's like I'm just Karen Smith. I didn't intend for it to turn into this.
And I think Karen is worse than Brad or Chad. Like Karen has gotten to a level of its own over the last whatever.
I think
5
if you're a
years.
Chad, though,
Chad's
a hard one to get over. Like, I think like girls think of you as a certain way. Like, you're dating a Chad. It's just hard. It just doesn't comes off real
Like,
what's
tough.
his name? Oh, he sounds great.
Chad.
Oh,
like, Jesus.
Like, you'd be better off being Chet than Chad. And that's a
Everything's
sad
better than
state of
Chad.
affairs.
Brad's
Chads
kind
you
of
think
fun.
listen to
At
this
least
show?
Brad's considered kind of fun, I think. Like he's too much, but he's fun.
Well, the
Karen's
Brad,
not fun.
the
Chad's
good
not
Brad
fun.
is not a Brad at all. He's like such a nice, normal
Yeah,
guy.
so when
so
I
that
met
kind
him, I
of
didn't
threw
even
me
think
off.
of that.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I didn't either. Didn't
Chad's way worse than Brad.
Taylor Swift in a recent interview when she was talking about how people get mad when they show her too much when she's at an NFL game, and she said Chads and Brads. You got to think there was a certain point where they're like, the Chads and Brads of the world were like, all right, this thing's dying down a little bit. Everybody just keep your heads down. Don't haze anybody. Stop drinking too much before noon, and we're going to get through this. And then Taylor Swift does her only interview of the last 5 years, and she says, I don't care if all these Chads and Brads are getting mad when I'm at a football game. There had to be a collective God damn it around the world from them because you guys are just back. Chads and Brads is going to live on forever.
Who's the most famous Chad?
Chad Kroger?
Chad Michael Murray?
Oh, Chad Pennington?
That was the one I thought of.
It's Chad Kroger, right? Is that the name?
I don't know.
Is that the Nickelback guy?
Yeah. I think it's Chad Kroger.
Oh, the lead singer of Nickelback that guy's name is Chad.
I'm through with standing in lines at clubs I'll never get in.
That might have been
Who's
the
the most
origin
famous-
of the Chad thing.
Look at this graph.
Who's the most famous Brad is probably Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Pitt, definitely.
Chad's an interesting one.
Bradley Cooper, is he getting bigger than Brad Pitt? No.
He's not Brad, though.
He's Brad
that's
Lee.
true.
Bad
True.
for his brand to call him Brad Cooper.
Brad
probably
Cooper.
was-
Oh,
yeah. Shut
So
that
Brad's
down.
one of those names, like, as you say it more, you can't believe it's a name. Brad.
we definitely got a few Brads that listen to this show. And listen, we love you. We hope you're doing all right. And we
We're
understand
we're
the
Chads?
defending you. We're saying you got screwed. You guys got
I agree.
completely screwed for the last
That is what we're
for
saying.
a while now, which is unfortunate. We
I think
feel
there's
bad
more
for you.
than 10 Chads that listen to this show. I would say no.
Yeah.
Yes.
More than 10
Yeah.
Chads?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that listen to the show, and that's a pretty common name.
I'd
Especially
love to get
among,
11
white golf
Chads to reach
circles.
out and be like, listening.
If your name is Chad, somehow reach out to us. We want to know how many Chads are listening.
I wouldn't hate all the Brads and Chads that are listening. Shoot us an email about your own anecdotes of how
Yes.
life's been the last 3-4 years. Just a quick what happened to you at a party, maybe a family holiday, maybe when you met a new girlfriend's parents.
I just
don't know what
love
it
the
might be,
idea
but if we-
of a Chad going up to the bar at a holiday party and cracking open a beer and the uncle being like, this guy's about to get nuts. It's like, dude, stop fucking putting me in this box, man. I just want to sip on an IPA. I'm keeping my eye on you, Chad.
I'm keeping my eyes on
keeping
you.
my fucking eye on you, dude. This guy's about to get nuts.
Brad's like, everyone's been drinking beer the whole time. It's
Yeah,
my first
yeah.
beer.
Oh, he's just in
then-
the corner.
But then we're definitely gonna get if people reach out, which I hope they do, we're gonna get a few of them where I'm the reason why this exists. When I crack a beer, I'm gonna drink 15 of them and I'm gonna get crazy. So you're gonna get a mixed bag, and I can't wait to hear about those stories because it's
Just
That's
shoot a
funny
note to
shit.
Foreplay at barstoolsports.com. I wouldn't mind to read a couple of those during the holiday.
This guy right now. There goes Chad. Uh-oh. Every time he goes to drink on,
gotta be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Alistair. Alistair, we were talking about in the last show. It wasn't over yet, but so I didn't realize this. He 3 under in the back nine, 268. Finished inside the top 25, which actually gets him 12 starts on the Korn Ferry Tour instead of the 8. And it gets him a bunch of other stuff. It gets him this certain United pass. It gets him a rental card pass. It gets him more perks, which is massive for his status and life than I knew. He gets privileges at TPC Scottsdale that he wouldn't have gotten if he had shittier conditional status and all this stuff. So his finish going from 78 to 65, 66, 68, vaulting inside the top 25. He played better than anyone else in the final 3 rounds. If you combine his score in the entire field, in the top 5 got their PGA Tour card. So what a resilient bastard Alistair is. The fact that he was, I think Monday Q tweeted out that he was T155 out of about 160 or 159 players after the first round and finished inside the top 25. So
Q School used to be 6 rounds back in the day. If it was 6 rounds, wow. Alistair was getting through. He was playing, like you said, he's playing better golf than anybody else the last 3 rounds. He's getting closer. He's getting closer and closer. Like you see the progression happening. Didn't have the best year until the end last year. He started playing better on the Corn Ferry Tour. It's been playing nice. Like it's coming. It's definitely coming.
I know it's like hard to look back. It's hindsight's 2020, but fuck, you think he's like that first round? I'm on the PGA Tour if I just shoot even
73. Even could have shot 2 over.
Right. I'm on the PGA Tour, dude. And he knows he had it that week too. That's the most frustrating part. Played the best golf in the whole field. Just like one day, like what was happening?
Did you talk to him, Rick?
Stomach ache or something? What happened?
Number? Yeah. Did he make a big number? Did he like hit it in the water?
We're celebrating tonight. We're doing a nice little dinner tonight for Alistair because the top 25 is a massive achievement, dude. The fact that he's gone 2 years in a row from first stage all the way through, getting through. Like there's guys the PGA Tour that couldn't do that. You should have like one bad, like he did. He had one bad round, was luckily able to overcome it. But first stage isn't easy, second stage isn't easy, third stage isn't easy, and to get through all 3 is amazing. But that first day the scoring conditions were brutal. Like the scoring averages and everything were significantly higher the first day than the rest, but just not 8 strokes higher. So for whatever, I mean, you're out there, it's like raining, it's blowing, and he just didn't have it on top of that, I guess. I'm going to talk to him about it tonight. But yeah, I did enjoy that. I was laughing because he texted me after his round Thursday because, dude, he was so hyped going into final stage. He was like, I'm going to get my tour card. He was playing fucking great. He's been grinding hard. He's been in a good mindset, the whole deal. Goes out there, fires 78. He's basically in last place. Texted me that night and just said, like, he's like, well, that was a hard round or something like that. And I just fired him a quick, like, there's a ton of golf left. You've been playing amazing. Here we go. And then each night I would text him after and he wasn't responding. So I could tell that he went, after that shit round Thursday, he went no phone for the rest, except Sunday they got rained out. And then I noticed, because I'm on a bunch of group texts with him too, he started texting people on Sunday. And I was like, you just couldn't go full Sunday when you're rained out all day without your phone. He's like, no, I couldn't fucking do that. So then he went Sunday night, I think. He went dark again. And then Monday afterwards, like an hour after he finished, I saw him start responding to a bunch of the group texts, like, time for a cocktail, let's go. So I haven't really gotten the full breakdown of what happened on Thursday. But, dude, to come back from that, to be in that bad a spot, how good of players there are out there. There's a bunch of PGA Tour guys. Saw Harry Higgs was in there, like Spencer Livy. Like, there's a lot of legit accomplished players in that field. For him to beat all of them Friday through Sunday, he's clearly got the game. So yeah, it's I'm with you, Frankie. I'm just sitting there looking, being like, okay, these guys are fucking 7 under, 8 under is getting these guys a tour card. He was, what was he like, 12 under par or something for his last 3 rounds of golf, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, if you just post something decent that first day. So I can't even imagine how much he's doing that in his head. It's probably not healthy to do that for your golf game. But either way, I think, too, going into year 2 of Corn Ferry Tour, like, I know he, throughout the year last year, he was a bit of a roller coaster, being like, I'm so excited to be out here. I'm so fresh. I've waited my whole life to have a full opportunity on something like this. And then, like, 3 weeks in, he's like, I'm in fucking Colombia. I'm playing too much. I need to take some time out. So you kind of go through that the first year. He went through a couple different caddies. And now I know going into year 2, at least going into it, he's very much like, I have a plan. I know what it's like. I know what tournaments I'm good at and
knows
what
the
I'm
golf
not.
courses. Yeah.
Knows the courses, knows the environment, knows where to stay and where not to, when to fly in and when to, so I think, I'm not a fucking I'm trying to break 90 right now, like Trent Bryan, but I think for him going in, it's like, he's in a much better place. He's kind of more comfortable. So I'm hoping, expecting, thinking that our guy could have a huge fucking year this year on the Corn Ferry Tour.
It's also better that he ended up where he is instead of, I saw the PGA Tour put up, and I couldn't find the tweet, but and I don't know the guy's name, so it's not a great story, but there was a guy that was on like the line. He was like 40th coming down the 18th hole. And like
the shank out of bounds.
The shank out of bounds, man. That's one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He was just like,
that sucked.
He's on a hill. His feet are almost in the water. He has like a baseball type swing. And you can just see this guy's just looking at this being like, I hope this goes okay, because if this goes right, I make it. And if it doesn't, I don't. And then he just takes this swing and his legs fall out. And he's just like, he face plants. And they show it in slow motion. He's watching this ball go out of bounds. And he's just like watching the ball as he's on the ground. And I'm just thinking like, that's a tough way to end. He tripled his last hole. Like just to absolutely puke on yourself, like you're me coming home from an Islander game. That's not the best way to end it. So better off being in the Alistair.
Did you make it to the toilet?
Dude, it had like, I made the toilet. It was a nightmare last night. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Hannah told me I
kept saying I love her. She's like, you were being very weird. She's like, you kept coming in being like, I love you. I'm like, what the fuck happened to me last night? I woke up like, what the fuck did I say? What are you talking about? She's like, you were puking, saying you love me.
Disregard everything I said last night. I didn't mean any of it.
This is nuts. I'm never having that drink again. But yeah.
Technics headphones deliver legendary hi-fi quality that you would expect only to come from Technics. There's no ear fatigue with Technics. They got advanced fit ergonomics is what that technology is. You can wear the earbuds that I've got, which are the AZ80 earbuds, securely and comfortably over long stretches of time, whether all day at the office, over 18 holes, whatever it might be. They've also got the A800 headphones, which Frankie uses, which he's absolutely obsessed with. We love Technics. These things are game-changing in a world where you simply have to have great headphones.
We're living in the golden era of audio content, where you can listen to books, you can listen to podcasts, music is everywhere with Spotify and Apple Music. Like, if you want to listen to stuff, you can listen to it now, and you want to have the best experience while doing that. So you got to get the best headphones, and that's what Technics is.
And sound engineering in movies and TV shows has become such an amazing part of entertainment that like the Oscars gives out one of the biggest awards for legitimate sound engineering in a movie. Like how could they enhance your experience aside from just watching on a film? We've always said that the music and the background noises and all of that theme that they end up adding to content is what makes the content. That's like you can change your mood, you can change what you're seeing with just adding a different soundtrack. So if you're not paying attention to that stuff and you're not really getting the best audio experience, then you're missing out, because these techniques honestly have changed my listening experience. They're amazing. And I left these things on last night when we did the podcast and we did the dozen, and they've just been on and they're still on. I didn't even have to charge. Like the charge on these things are incredible. I thought for sure they were going to die during this podcast. We've been talking for an hour and 25 minutes and this thing was on for 24 hours, just like blinking. So that's pretty impressive.
I worry about mine too, especially long travel. If you get to charge or whatever it might be in the charge, these things last forever, which is fantastic. You can connect them to up to 3 different devices, so you can jump from a meeting, listen to music, taking a call, crystal clear quality. You get 10% off your purchase if you're a Foreplay listener on earbuds, headphones, and more at techniques.com/foreplay. That's techniques.com/foreplay. Shop for the Techniques True Wireless AZ80 earbuds or the A800 headphones at techniques.com. That is technics.com/foreplay. Dan, I got a question.
What's up?
For those top 5 guys that get a PGA Tour card, what exactly does that mean? Like, what exactly do they get into?
They basically get into the non-signature events, I think. I don't know about all of them. They get some sort of priority number. Every category like has a priority. So like number 1 on the priority is like Victor Hovland won the FedEx Cup. He's into everything for the whole entire season. There's a list of like, I think they're probably below the Korn Ferry graduates from last year, the 30 guys who got it. But because the tour is like so bifurcated now, they'll get into those tournaments. Like they'll get into Sony, I'm sure, in Hawaii. They'll get into
less guys are going to play them, like less real like big names are going to play them.
Yeah, because guys are going to be on like the signature event diet this year. So I think those guys they'll get probably 15 to 18 starts on the PGA Tour. And also now, because of if it's their first time getting a card, they get that $500,000 guaranteed like
stipend
advance.
kind of.
Yeah,
That's
plus
Damn.
yeah, it's they give you $500 at the beginning of the year, and then you don't get money until you make more of that. And if you make less of it, you keep the 500 grand. So between that and probably $100,000 in endorsements just for playing on the PGA Tour, sell like this, that, and the other. It was worth like a good $700,000 for these guys. So
it was a
big deal.
Case scenario 600.
That's worst case scenario. And that guy Blaine Hale, I played like one Corn Ferry Tour event, hadn't played any PGA. It's really cool that they brought it back. It's really cool. 25 cards through Q School was too much, which is what it used to be, because you get a lot of guys. Like the attrition rate was huge because it was like a lot of guys who just had basically one good tournament. But it's so awesome to see guys like that Hayden Springer, whose daughter had died a month before, getting his PGA Tour card. That guy Blaine Hale, who played at Oklahoma with our friends Brad, Dalke, and Luke Kwan, was doing nothing. He was wearing like a beat up old hat from his country club and had no logos on his shirt. And now he's going on the PGA Tour from playing the E-Pro Golf Tour or something. So it's cool. It's cool that they brought that back. It used to be the best you could do through Q School. Let's get on the Corn Ferry Tour. Now you go straight to the show, which is really, really cool.
I got to give a shout out to our guy Brad from Good, because when we did do the show talking about him like a week ago, we made fun of him a lot. And I have to say that the second day in like 30-mile-an-hour winds, he drove the ball as impressive as any human being I've ever seen in my entire life. And it wasn't just the driving. His entire game was so good. And Oklahoma, I think they won a national championship when he was there. Is that right? And
he made the winning putt.
Made the winning putt. And we were shitting on him kind of about the Masters thing, which was funny. I enjoyed that. But he is one of the more impressive golfers when his game's on that I've ever seen in person.
Yeah,
those conditions were insane.
It was
second in the
so
U.S.
hard,
Amateur,
dude.
Yeah,
those conditions were insane. He was just piercing the ball through the wind. He never mishit a shot the entire day, and it was just like, this guy is different, man. Like, he just hits the ball different, and Luke Kwan hits the ball different too. They both just
It was
our matches. You'll see, like, they just hit shots that were way different than the rest of the crew.
Yes, and for me especially, but for us, like the amateur, like with the technology and everything, which is great, you can get away with pretty good, like okay swings and like spin rates that kind of stink in normal conditions or especially downwind. But into the wind, like you just get exposed, and like we saw that with our scores. I mean, a drive will go from, if you hit one like me, if I hit a pretty good one, it can go 260, 270, maybe carry it 255, 260, whatever. But like into the wind, I mean, I was carrying it like 185 sometimes into these 30-mile-an-hour winds, and he just didn't change. Like he's hitting it 340 no matter what, because he hits it so fucking good that I'm looking being like, that ball went farther than his downwind drive, I think. Like they smashing it into the wind. And that was the biggest difference that I noticed, where I was like, dude, the wind doesn't really matter that much at this point.
Yeah, it's just like the integrity of the strike. And he has a cool golf swing, too. He swings like a long drive guy. He's got this like big backswing, super high hands.
And he drops cool. Like he almost does the like, he squats and just, I'm like, how do you control that in any way? And he was just hitting everything right where he wanted to. It was fucking awesome. It was awesome. All right. I got some from the galleries that are a little bit backed up. That I figured we could get to, since this will be our one of our final shows of the year. Another little plug for our email, foreplay@barstoolsports.com. Shoot us from the gallery if you've got it. Greg,
or if you're a Brad or a Chad, get in there.
Let me look actually if we have any from Brad's.
But no Karens.
We don't. We got Brett. We got Jacob with a K. We got a Todd.
That's a better question: is how many Karens listen to this show?
Hopefully not Karen Lowe. Hopefully not my mother-in-law.
There's got to be a handful.
I'd say less than 5.
I'd say less than 5.
I'm with Frank.
You think so? You don't think like Yeah.
I would say, I guess our analytics, the pool
there might be a Karen
female
listening to this because like a husband's listening to it in the kitchen or something, and like right now this Karen hears this and is like, I'm listening.
Bush, do we have analytics on what percent men versus women the listenership is?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, what do we got?
I don't have it offhand. I'd have to look it up.
Said it so confidently.
Should have said no.
Yeah,
I'm just
if
saying.
If you go back and listen to that, you said it like a man who had it at the ready.
It's like, okay, what is it?
I'm just saying it exists.
And you thought, like, I think Alex thought the question was generally, is there a number somewhere that says the percentage?
That's exactly what I thought the question was.
Alex,
how quickly can we get that number? Is it possible during the show?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's got to be 97% male.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hope it's in the 80s and not the 90s. But I
played
brother.
I played golf yesterday with like a OG TikToker, a guy who used to live in the Sway house. He's like one of Josh Richards' friends. Nice. And we were on the golf course, and some kid came up and was like, "Oh, like I'm a big fan of the show." He's like, "You got dude fans." He's like, "I got women fans. You've got dude fans." And I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Yeah, I don't know that I've ever had a woman who's come up to me and been like, 'Oh, I love the show.' I don't know if that's ever happened to me in the wild."
Who were we with where we were laughing? Oh, it was when I played in the Pro-Am with Chris Lane at the Wyndham Championship last year.
Yeah.
It was very funny because every girl was coming up to him screaming like he was the Beatles. And every bro in like a lacrosse penny was coming up to me being like, "Dude, can I get a pic? What, you going to chug this Truly for me?" And I was like, we got a very different fan base, man. Like, couldn't possibly be more. Mine would win in a fight, but I would rather have yours. So
exactly. I was like, I'd love some women. Women would be great.
That was a good contrast.
You can find it on your Instagram if you looked like for this number that Alex Bush can't find. If you go on your Instagram, the analytics will have like the breakdown of male and female, and it's it's probably going to be in the 90s would be my guess.
I would say I think all of ours are higher women percentage on Instagram than on Twitter. Twitter, I think we're really like,
but I don't think the number is going to be that high on Instagram either.
No, but higher. Like,
I don't even know how I would find it. This is not going to be great audio, but it's definitely in there somewhere.
It's quite suspenseful if you break it down.
Insights,
okay.
probably.
I'm almost in the 80s. I'm 90.6% male.
How'd you find
Instagram? Women on Instagram.
Yeah, but I bet you have higher than because with the Dave stuff, like that was a little bit more. I guess, and Trent, you probably have higher too with the chicks in the office stuff. I think Briggsy Boy and I are probably
really low.
We're probably struggling on that department.
Super low. I don't even know where do I click this shit.
You go to if you go to insights and then followers, you go all the way in the bottom. Now I don't know if that's just based off of like the last 30 days. It might be.
Hold on here.
If I hit last 90 days.
94.7.
I'm at male 81.7.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Wow.
No, I'm at 94.7. I got 5% women in there.
I'm 90.6.
I'm 94.4% men.
Okay, so Dan's the biggest sausage fest in the group.
What's yours, Dan?
94.7.
Ooh, close.
See, I would imagine
rating. It's like the new
I would
Uber
imagine
rating.
our listenership in terms of gender are similar to your guys' Instagram numbers. 94.
Look at this countries. We got I got 87% USA, 5.1% Canada, 1.7% United Kingdom.
I've got 7% Canada.
You're a hockey guy.
All right, I got something for you. I went to the YouTube because to find the numbers for the audio, I'd have to go through a few things. But on YouTube, just for the podcast channel, we are 98.2% male.
That's not a real number.
That's a real number. We are 1.8% female.
Dude,
on YouTube.
You could do
on the podcast YouTube channel, so just the pod.
Is Earth round? And I don't think you'd get to 98%.
No,
98.
That's a small but that's a very that channel has a very small number. It's only got
but our old podcast got moved over, so it includes those. Because our old pods that were on the other channel are now on the podcast.
Amazing.
How come we can't see the analytic for the main account?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Why do you only see it for YouTube?
You were talking about the podcast. So.
I'll
go to the main account.
Yeah, but it is
such
I know what you're saying. It's such a small I know what you're saying.
It's a smaller pool for sure.
Right, so like if there's only 10,000 people that watch the podcast, like obviously I think that's going to be mostly.
All right, so Alex is going to look up the main Foreplay channel.
Our sales team's got to be like, why are you guys doing this? We actually lie to all of our advertisers.
Yes.
We say that you guys talk to 60% women actually.
No, they got to know that
it is not that much different. It is 97.9% male.
Wow. Dude, like 500,000 people watch like Breaking 90. That's crazy.
It's all dudes. It's just all dudes.
But that's not stunning to anybody.
But it's still a little surprising to hear it. 97.9.
97
lower, man.
So that'll be a goal in 2024. How do we get? What's our number that we're trying to get a female YouTube audience?
Dude, could we get that number down to like 10%, 90%?
Oh, that would be a lot.
We'd have to recruit an amazing amount of women listeners.
Well, I would also say there would also have to be like a personnel addition would probably be the biggest.
We got to get a hot guy on the show, is what you're saying.
Right,
or just a woman.
Like
or
if you
just
go
a
out
woman.
and get like a
that's true.
That's what I was saying.
Right.
This is Barstool, Dan. I never even considered that, actually.
You know what we should do? Let's hire a white dude who's a little bit better looking than us. That'll get the numbers up.
You might have
a good look
there,
into
though,
our
like,
hiring philosophy there.
You pick a woman, you might get more men watching and listening. You might have something there. You might want to get like a guy.
Let's just get Garrett on the channel. We might pump those numbers up a little bit.
I bet you the women watch him just to see his little face on there.
Yeah,
Probably,
I think so. Our age range is nice. Look at this. This is where we make the Brett here. This is 25 to 34, 51% of my followers.
Yeah, that's
big.
That's
35 to 44, 30%. So over 80% is between 25 and 44. Unlike that.
Contrast that with the average PGA Tour watcher being 64 years old.
This is where we got to get better, though. 13 to 17 and 18 to 24 only comprises about 10%. We got to get that next generation, man. We got to get them.
Yeah.
We got to get them locked in here.
We got to stop swearing, I think that might be the thing.
We just got basically all of my followers are just me. Like it's a bunch of me's. This is what
that's like what I mean. That's what I mean. Barstool has certainly expanded now with all the different brands, but like originally, that's like what it was. It's like a bunch of me's checking out what we're doing on BarstoolSports.com.
I got 200,000 me's that follow me on Instagram, and we're just living in this fucking little echo chamber world. Fuck, we got to break out of that. From the gallery, Greg says, do you get more or less excited when you play and show up to a golf course and the golf carts have the GPS screens, but they're going to also have the restricted areas where you have to do the reverse thing?
I think at this point, every golf cart needs a screen.
Yeah.
The restrictions obviously, I'm starting to get stuffed up. The restrictions obviously are infuriating, but I'm taking the restrictions with the screen all day. When a golf cart doesn't have the screen, it's like we went back into the fucking Stone Ages.
And it's like, I forgot my rangefinder. I'm blind out here.
I never have it. We're always switching bags and shit. And I'm like, I just, for some reason, just always forget my rangefinder. And like when I don't have that screen and general knowledge of like generally how far I am from a hole, it ruins my whole day.
How different do you think your game would be if we did that? If we no rangefinder, no GPS screen, if we just went out there and you got to eyeball every yardage, how much different would your game be?
Riggs and I were talking about it.
Unbelievably different.
I'm not so sure from inside 100 yards it would make that much of a difference.
Oh, obviously not.
Yeah.
Inside 100 yards is like all feel to me. When people ask for yards from like 60 yards away, I think you're insane.
Trent Daddy, would you be able to get like would you be able to look at like sprinkler heads and get yardages? Or you're saying there's no yardages whatsoever?
You'd be a nightmare out there, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't, to Dan's point, it might sneaky be one of those things where you play better than you think, because I don't know what the reasoning would be, but I'm even thinking like I don't hit my irons like the perfect yardage enough.
Right.
That I think if I could eyeball it within 20 yards, that it would almost be the same result.
I think you'd have a lot of mistakes, man. I think you hit a 170 club and it's like 195 away, and you're just like, you're not even close. I would struggle with that. I would really struggle with that. I've made those mistakes before where like I've tried to eyeball it and like I've been walking and then I couldn't find a sprinkler head. I didn't have my rangefinder. I'm like, all right, I think it's 150, and I hit like a fucking 8-iron and it was like 165, and I can't really sure. I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. It wasn't even close.
It's not the most interesting concept for a video, but it would just be an interesting experiment.
Play blind.
Be kind of a good video.
No yard, no rangefinder, no sprinkler heads. You just got to go out there and just feel it. I mean, that's how they did it when the game started, I would imagine. What else are they doing? They're just like, all right, where am I? This is where I am. I think I'm 145 yards out.
This looks like a niblick, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I think I would be very curious to know, because what if it's the complete opposite, where, and it probably wouldn't be, but you're just like, I feel it, so I feel more confident. In my head, this is how I feel, and I'm going to swing that way. And you play,
that'd be
a
hard.
Bit better. It'd be hard for sure.
You need like some range, like even like those public courses that just have like the blue, the white, and the red posts out in the distance.
No.
Like, I need some range to be like. How many times have you asked like, how far is this? And you're
every
like,
single
wow,
time. Every single time I pull
180. This is 180.
But does the
I
answer
would've
really
thought-
surprise you that much? Like you think sometimes you think it's 150 and it's 190. Like surely by now you have enough depth perception to be like in the ballpark.
You could be in the right ballpark. Yeah.
For the situation that I'm presenting,
par
I think
threes
it'd
would
be
be
really
tough.
fun to just do totally blind.
We
Not
should do a
blind,
video
but,
totally
like,
blind.
no yardages. See what you
Right.
shoot.
Because we're so good that we should make the game harder for ourselves.
Yeah,
It's
just
an
like the
interesting
rollback
concept.
and the drive.
It's a great concept.
That's what
I'd like to watch someone that's fucking dialed.
That's less fun. You got to get out there and be the people who don't really know what they're doing and take away their tools.
It'd be funny if we played better.
That would be.
Steve asks, that's my dad's name, Steve. If Liv signed Tiger instead of Phil when it first came about, and that was their big signing, would the vast majority of the general public accept it more and be more into it as a cool refresher in golf? Or would it be the same as it is today where people think it's just a money grab?
It would be a completely different narrative. All the best players would already be over there. And it would be over. That's why they offered him $800 million.
Yeah, because Phil's a maverick. Phil is polarizing. Phil is divisive. Phil is a guy who you don't know if he would be. He's in it for himself, you think, where he's just trying to get this money because of a situation that he's in. It's less like, oh, come join this thing because I actually think it's the coolest thing in the world. That was the narrative that he was putting out there, but you didn't fully trust it. I feel like the players probably didn't fully trust it. Tiger is the opposite of that.
Well, there was a whole news cycle before he signed about the PGA Tour. I remember because I was still working at Golf Digest at the time. They had this piece about him saying obnoxious greed. He was saying the PGA Tour's obnoxious greed is why
Digest
he's
open, baby.
thinking about, God damn it, man. I got to just stop saying that word altogether. But I can't even think anymore. But he said that it was obnoxious greed. That was the reason that he went. Whereas I feel like Tiger would have been smarter about it and not been like, I hate the PGA Tour. This is why I'm doing it. This is this new idea. The whole rollout was probably not the best when it came to just the image that they were giving out. It was very like cavalier, like we screw you guys, as opposed to like, this is cool. Let's all try this.
Yeah, it was Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson. Like imagine, you know,
and they're brash individuals, my friend.
Like if it was Lee Trevino as the CEO and like Tiger Woods was their first big signing, that's such a different message. People are like, oh, it's so warm and welcoming and the biggest star in the history of the game. So I agree. I think it would be wildly, wildly different if it was Tiger versus Phil, which really speaks a lot to their kind of legacy and image in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's flipped. I mean, Phil used to be the fan favorite and Tiger was kind of the cold, you know, before sort of before the comeback, really. Tiger was like the one who was distant and people didn't, you know, you'd hear stories and Phil was the guy. And then I think social media and Tiger becoming just like nicer and gentler and in his older age really flipped everything.
Yeah. Corey, I don't think we did this one. I know I've read this one and had it on a list for a while, but we haven't gotten to it because we never ever get to From the Gallery, even though I say I'm going to do it every show. Corey says, I really can't remember if we did this. Why does water make clothes darker? If water is translucent and has no color, why does it make whatever it gets wet darker?
Actually, it's a really good point.
Like if it's clear and you're looking at it, it's clear, and then it goes onto clothes and just why do they just get dark?
It's not the water. It's the
reaction with the
fabric.
The material.
The fabric is what's getting darker. Like
right, because like if you spill on one of those like Gore-Tex things, it's just clear.
Yeah. Yep.
Like there's something about cloth that just like as it gets,
it's like absorbed. That's when it gets absorbed, it becomes darker.
Right, the saturation changes.
Saturation, there's our answer.
So it's I'm with Dan's right. It's less the water and more the fabric and material.
That's Frankie.
That was Frank.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's a
Is that the first time we've ever gotten to an answer accurately that was scientific?
We don't
on our
actually
own?
know the answer. We're just saying like the color. We haven't answered anything. We just said the color.
I was kind of thinking that too. I was like, we've kind of just reconfirmed that, like, the fabric,
the color changes,
gets darker.
Yeah, because if I spill water on the floor right here, I can see the floor still, and it's still just clear. I can see through it, but it's what it falls onto is what makes a difference.
I would like to tell you, everybody, about some new performance outerwear I've been loving from our friends over at Peter Millar. When the temperatures drop, which is right now, I'm depending on Peter Millar's innovative lineup of jackets and vests to keep me performing my best for those cool weather rounds. Peter Millar uses revolutionary performance fabrics that provide lightweight, weather resistance, along with the perfect amount of warmth without overheating. It's incredibly difficult to find the right items that you can still swing in. We all struggle with just being loose and flexible in general. Now, once you get colder weather, you'd like to stay warm out there, but still be able to be flexible. You'd like to look good, feel good, have high quality stuff. Nobody's ever done that better than our friends at Peter Millar.
Yep, top quality, just top tier, the best of the best. You can tell every single pro shop you go into, it's the one that they highlight the most.
You really
can tell. It's got the biggest selection, and it's right when you walk in. It's Peter Millar. I walked by a really nice Peter Millar Islanders hoodie that I hope made its way underneath my Christmas tree. I've been dropping hints like crazy. I told Hannah exactly where it was, what aisle it was in the Islanders Pro Shop. This thing is so nice. It's so minimalistic. A little Islander logo in the top left chest. It's the lava wash hoodie. It's everything I love, all combined. Oh my gosh! If I don't have that hoodie, I'm gonna wreak havoc here.
Whether you're looking for a bold statement piece or keeping it classic, the new lineup of Crown Sport outerwear has you covered. Head on over to petermillar.com to explore the newest Crown Sport outerwear from Peter Millar, the official outfitter of the USGA. You're gonna love going to the website. I do it almost every day. Scrolling through my phone when I'm watching something, I say, I just want to go check out what's on there because they got such good items. Bang, you're going to order something because you deserve it. Head on over to petermillar.com.
I follow this science account on Twitter, and it's just like they'll post like a really cool digital recreation of just like things that you think are just like normal, like how the brain works, and like they just digitally create what's happening inside your brain, like how brain cells talk to each other and like make things happen is out of this fucking world, man. It's crazy. Mitochondrias and shit, and even like something as simple as like your antibodies going after germs. They made like a little cartoon about it, or like a digital recreation. And it's like these little green aliens going through your system. And then this fucking white cell, it looks like a monster. It's just like rolling around in your body. And it's just like eating up everything like it's a fucking vacuum. And it's chasing them down, dude. That's what's happening billions of times over in your body. To even say these words on this podcast.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
I watched a video the other day that was a representation of the solar system and how, in school when they teach you sun's in the middle, and I'm not saying the sun's not in the middle, but I'm saying like when the planets are circling.
Oh, is this one where they move?
Yeah, it's not linear like you think that it is. If you look at it from the side, everything is like this.
And it's moving together. It's moving at like the speed, a crazy speed.
Right. We're all like, pulled in by the sun, is my understanding. But it's not, you think it's like, if I just like look over there.
All the planets are on here. It's like
it's not everywhere. On like a straight axis.
And the whole thing is moving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, fast.
Like the sun's moving, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
Sun's what?
It's moving.
Oh yeah, really fast
at crazy speeds.
Yeah, it almost made me like throw up. Not from like whoa. It's more from like you almost lose your center. You're just
where is it going?
The sun and solar system appear to be moving at 200 kilometers per second, or an average speed of 448,000 kilometers per or miles per hour.
Yeah.
Even at this rapid speed, the solar system would take about 230 million years to travel all the way around the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way, too, moves in space relative to all other galaxies.
What is happening out there, man? We haven't talked about space enough in this. I feel like I haven't really brought up space in like 6 months. I kind of cooled it with all the crazy
crowd
talk.
Instead.
At some point, we got to talk about this shit.
Well, like the only
it's
thing
unacceptable that we do not talk about this at all times.
Well, it's tough for us to talk about it because we don't know anything about it, and
it's ever expanding, Trent. What does that even mean, man?
To have an interesting conversation about it, you have to have someone who's qualified because we don't even know where to start. Like I'm just like I wake up in the morning, I drink water, I drink coffee. Like that's my world. I don't know I don't. There's
Also
no
not
sort.
gonna
we
be
need to get our guy
beneficial.
on.
It's not going to be beneficial to any of us on this show to talk about it because we got shit to worry about. You got to find your car, dude. Like you got to find
Who's
where
the
your
at? I know
car's
I
at.
do. I have to
You
get
can't
my
be
fucking
thinking
car.
about the fucking galaxies racing at each other and fucking.
And you know
This
what?
really
I
goes
gotta order a
against-
bacon, egg, and
Right.
cheese sandwich.
I said on the last
that,
show
dude.
we were talking about different things, but I think it still applies here, where you just got to make your world smaller, and this is the
No,
opposite
man.
of that. You're
No.
trying to figure out things that even the smartest people in the world don't know about.
In about 4 billion years, the Milky Way galaxy will collide with its nearest neighbor, the Andromeda galaxy. The two are rushing towards each other at about 70 miles per second.
That's the thing that just like is so upsetting, is that there is no path to survival for this Earth that we are living on. At some point, that's
gonna
a
explode.
very, very, very sobering, horrific thought. That all of this stuff we are doing, there's not even a chance that it survives. And obviously, we're talking billions of years.
Yeah,
But still, there's no chance it survives.
I don't.
That doesn't drive
freak me
you
out.
crazy.
No.
What do you mean? That's
That
all
actually-
we
you
have.
know,
That's
you
all
knew
this
going in
is.
you're
That's
not
all
going to
this is.
survive. You've known
I know,
since you were
but,
like
that's
3 that
all
you're not
this
going to survive.
is.
So who cares?
There's gotta be a fucking like a path to success.
You're not
That's
going to
what
meet the. You're not going to
life
meet the
is.
guy. You're not going to meet the guy. You're not.
Mm-mm.
You're looking for like a guy to come down and be like, "This is why this is all happening." You're not going to meet that guy or girl. You're just not going to meet that specimen, that person, that being. You're just
The whole point is the whole path to success is just get shit faced with your friends and
What?
and enjoy yourself. That's
I
pretty
guess,
much what
Frankie,
it is.
my
There's
question for
nothing
you
else.
would be like, what would be enough for you to not have anxiety about it?
The answer. Just
You're not
give me
getting
the
that.
answer. I know,
What's
but
what
you
the
asked
answer
question,
of what though?
The answer is like, this is why this is happening. This is why you're
Read the
this
Bible.
random, this right. This random, like world is existing amongst absolute chaos, and like this is why these are the answers that you're searching for. This is why space is space, and this is why it's ever expanding. This is
where
how it
religion
started.
came from. That's where religion. That's why religion is,
Right.
because you got to
It's an
find some
explanation.
sort of answers because the whole thing is so random, and depending on your beliefs, it could just be there ain't no answer, man. It's literally what you just said, Frankie. Actually, it's all just because biologically and scientifically certain things happen to come together, and they're going to eventually break apart, and that's just going to be it. That's just it.
Got to accept that you're
sucks.
not going to know the answer.
I know talking about simulation theory is like insane, but I really do think this whole thing's so fucked up and so ridiculous and so random and so insane that we are in some sort of computer system.
Well, that just because
that is not that crazy to think about. I know what it sounds like.
Well, no,
but it's not that crazy to
That's
think.
another like you just
That-
need someone. That's like needing an answer when there
right.
just
That
isn't.
satiates your need for an answer. If you think like
I need
there's
an answer.
I don't need an answer. I don't. And I also don't think we're going to get one. So it's like it's a fool's errand.
We have people out there searching for answers, right? Like that's you have to
trying.
keep looking. You can't just like humanity can't just be like no. Just go.
I'm
to
not
Outer
saying
Games,
everybody has
watch
to share
shorthanded
my
goals.
opinion.
No, I know, but I think regardless of opinions, people have to keep searching.
We are.
For
Right.
sure. Like
But you agree on that, right? Like
and-
people they need that. You need that wonder, or
I
else
think it's important.
it's over.
Absolutely. But also there's people that are performing like heart surgery. That's really important. That ain't I can't do that. I'm not going to help with that. That's not what I do. It's like, you got to let them do that. You got to let the people that are explore. We got to do our, it's like,
They find something. I want to hear about it. I'll read about it.
Aliens are bust. Me and Trent have been on that for years.
I need a little green guy being like, "Whoa, what's up, guys?"
What
up?
yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that. What's our telescope called?
The James Webb.
Yeah, the James Webb telescope. We got to get that guy back. What the hell's he doing?
Eric Smith, was that his name?
Dr. Eric Smith. When he came on the show, that was the most impressive shit I had ever fucking heard in my entire life.
You remember when
We
he
need to
came
get
on
that
and he
guy
had the
back on.
galaxy behind him? He had like the little background. That was great. They have a fantastic documentary on the telescope on, I think it's on Netflix, maybe?
They do.
I should watch
like
that.
the building of it and all that.
Yep.
How many
And
things have to
launching
go
of it.
right? Yeah, stunning stuff, man. Stunning stuff.
It really is.
Crazy out there. It's just
you know,
fucking crazy, man.
it's hard for me because I'm with you. I love thinking about this stuff, but I also like if you think about if you really need answers, then you're in trouble. It's because they just aren't. People looking for that answer for thousands of years, man.
Because the fucked up thing is probably the more they find, the more questions you're gonna have.
Yeah,
It's not gonna get. You're not gonna be like, oh, all right, I got it. All right, now I can
think
go
about
back
what
to
they've learned.
eating a sandwich.
They've learned that we're just part of a galaxy of billions of galaxies that are fucking racing towards each other. They're like, fuck, we didn't want that, dude. We wanted the answer. We wanted to find God, being like, yeah, we're just spinning you around trying to learn a little something or whatever.
Just a guy in a computer chair shuffling back and forth, being like, whoa,
Give me an
oh
answer.
yeah, no,
I
I've
get
been
it.
doing this the whole time. I'm the guy
Sorry about
behind
that,
Oz.
everyone.
I'm the wizard. You're looking for the wizard, dude. The Wizard of Oz. Pretty far away, I think.
Yeah, really far away. All right. Alex Bush, you got anything? You got any final thoughts for Christmas? Are you a Christmas guy?
Yeah, I mean, I love Christmas.
Yeah, I bet you do, you little bitch.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
Is it going to snow in
nothing
Buffalo? You going home?
We haven't gotten irrationally mad at Alex in a long time. I used to like when we used to just like curse him out like he was just a piece of shit.
The best.
Good times.
Yeah,
No,
you
it,
miss those days, eh,
it
Alex?
does snow in Buffalo a lot, or in Rochester a lot for Christmas.
White Christmas.
Like you were talking about White Christmas, we got a ton growing up, but I just don't think we're going to now or this year.
It really is a bummer.
Okay.
I just want to wake up to a winter wonderland in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I'm going to wake up to
It's the
rain.
best.
That's what pisses me. Honestly, the rain pisses me off even more because I know if the temperatures were right, we would be having snow. And I'm not saying that as a claim in any direction. I'm just saying I know when it rains, if it were just cooler, I would have snow.
I wish it was colder.
I know.
Save
Then
the ice
people are like,
caps.
what?
Save the ice caps.
No, I'm just saying make my Christmases white. So I don't know, whatever we got to do to get to that point.
It's pretty
that's where I wanna
racist,
be.
honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds a little
I just want my Christmas I just want it white, white only.
Trent wants the whitest, just pure white Christmas.
Yeah.
Just like he likes his people. He wants his Christmas white. Is that what you're trying to tell us? Jesus. That's for holiday spirit here, I thought. A new Straight Talk Wireless offering is now available where you can get a Walmart Plus membership included on select Straight Talk Wireless plans for free. Only Straight Talk Wireless gives you unlimited data, talk, and text, plus a Walmart Plus membership included on select plans for free. I believe this crew needs, free, unlimited data, talk, text. That's right up our alley.
Have to.
Constantly
Unlimited.
using data. Constantly. The fact that it's unlimited is huge. Yeah, we're always on our phones. When people look at their like screen times and stuff, the Barstool world is out of control. Like when I compare it to a person that just like has a regular 9-to-5 job that really like doesn't have to look at their phone that much, it's fucking astronomical. I'm like 6 hours. I'm like 6 hours more a day than them.
Burning through data.
Some of the perks of Walmart Plus through select Straight Talk Wireless plans are free delivery from Walmart stores, free shipping, no order minimum, Paramount Plus membership, which is awesome, member prices on fuel, going to give you some savings on gas. So once again, a new Straight Talk Wireless offering is available where you can get a Walmart Plus membership included on select Straight Talk Wireless plans for free. Straight Talk Wireless is available at Walmart and Walmart.com. That is Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart and Walmart.com.
Did anyone watch another episode of The Crown since we've last recorded? No?
I have.
Nothing?
I finished The Crown.
Wow.
Yeah, I finished
Last
The Crown.
episode was emotional, was it not?
Incredibly emotional. I will say that I went back and I started the first couple episodes of the first season, and I realized that the final episode wasn't as emotional for me because I didn't have those seasons and seasons and seasons of the full life of Queen Elizabeth. In fact, my only season of watching The Crown was mostly focused on Princess Diana and what's his name?
Doty.
And that, and like the heaviness of all of that. And by the time it transitioned to the Queen, and they're like planning of that event, and then her walking at the whole deal. It wasn't as powerful until I then went back and started and realized that the whole 6 seasons are about the Queen. I didn't really realize all that.
And just like that whole last scene with like the other actresses that played her, like coming into the frame of just like her whole life, that was really impactful when like you watched that many hours of those actresses portraying her, and like they were all together in the same. That was pretty cool. That was like, oh shit, that's such a cool callback to like, wow.
See, I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know that's who those people were because I didn't see any of it. So that makes a lot more sense now.
Different versions of her.
I knew a little bit because throughout even the final season, they do callbacks and where she like talks to a former version or they show certain. So I saw a little bit of that, but that makes a lot more sense. So it's fucking great. It's really good. I'm as a history guy, I love it. I still need to see Napoleon because I've heard Napoleon for people that are like me is awesome. So I really want to see that.
I love it. I know that that's not like a popular
it's not a popular opinion, unfortunately. I don't know why.
For me, it was like a Wikipedia page come to life. It was like, here's a birth, here's a battle, here's a marriage, here's something that happened in the French court. Like it was just boom, 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 boom. I really liked it.
It's unbelievable. Oh no, it's not. Because I've been thinking about watching that Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese one, the Killers of the Flower Moon, and it's like 4 hours long, and people like didn't like it, right? They said it was just too much.
The book was incredible. The book is absolutely incredible, but the movie I haven't seen yet.
I've been thinking about watching it, but it's a lot to commit to.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter. I feel like it's a wait till it's on. Watch the first hour and a half, and then watch the second hour. 4 fucking hours.
I got nothing else, man. You know, the Islanders play tonight. That's about it.
Get back to UBS. Is the game at UBS?
No, it's It's in DC. They had to fucking.
I placed a wager on the Boston Bruins to win the Stanley Cup.
They're good, right?
Seems like a pretty good bet.
They're good. They've had a little bit of a thing going where they're losing leads and stuff, but I like this. I like the symmetry of like when the Tampa Bay Lightning lost in the first round when they were the best team in the NHL. They came back and they won like 2 Stanley Cups in a row. I just like that of when a team that's supposed to be dominant has a big setback, that next year they come back, they've learned what they need to learn, and they get it done. And I think that's going to be the Boston Bruins this year.
Yeah.
So
they got the goaltending too. I mean, they're obviously scary. Rangers are scary, which I don't want to have to say on a public forum, but they're like the Rangers are knocking on the door for a long time too. Like they've had a fucking crazy good offense for a long time, and at some point that's just going to click in the playoffs. It's crazy they lost last year to the Devils. Like that was stunning in the first round.
That was.
Islanders are if the Islanders can get to the playoffs, they actually probably built this year better than they have been in recent years because they're actually scoring. The Islanders overs are hitting like crazy. They're like losing leads. They have 8 overtime losses already. So like it's kind of a fucked like weird system right now where like there's losing shootouts and overtimes, but that's not going to happen in the playoffs. Obviously, there are no shootouts and there are no 3-on-3 overtimes. I think they're actually built. Their power play is a top 5 power play in the league. That has never happened in my life. I've always said if the Islanders could have a top 20 power play, they would have won the Stanley Cup those 2 years they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they lost to the fucking Lightning. They went like 0 for 30 on the power play that series. Like if you score 3 goals, you're just like winning the series. So fuck. But I saw Brock Nelson after the game last night, and I'm just like, they scored 2 power play goals last night. They went 2 for 3. And I saw him. I'm like, what the fuck happened? He's like, yeah, you just like don't know hockey. There's a lot of things that happen. Like he's just like laughing. He's like, because I'm like, it's the same players. He's like, well, it's not, right? He's like Palmieri's like a right-handed shot that opens up me more in a spot that I've never been in. Like Bo Horvat, he's in a spot now that I used to have to be in, and now I'm in. Like they're just, I just don't know enough about the game to like see why they went from 31st to 5th in 1 year with not adding anyone. You know what I mean? Like it's like crazy to me. He was laughing. He's like, you just don't know. I was like, yeah, you're right.
You're like, yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. I was perplexed. I'm like, is it because Dobson's like skating better? He's like, yeah, Dobson learned how to skate sideways. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
yeah, he was clueless last year.
You got no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, I don't know.
All right. I hope you find your car, Frankie.
I don't want to have to go get this thing, man.
Just leave
that
it.
Sucks. That fucking sucks.
Just give it up.
Leave it.
Just charge it to the game.
Fuck.
I'm going to order some Chipotle right now.
Yeah,
I just ordered a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, dude.
This guy is.
Dude,
he's in
it's
one.
noon 30 there.
Had to.
I love it. No, I get it. I get
I
it.
paid like $37 for it on Uber Eats just now. Like
Did you
one
get two of
bacon,
them?
egg, and cheese.
You
No,
got
just
one?
one bacon, egg, and cheese, and they made me order like a Hal's chips to complete the order for delivery. So I ordered a big bag of sour cream and onion chips that I won't even eat. I'll just put them in the fucking pantry. And the delivery, I want priority because I want that fucking sandwich hot. So at the end of the day, one bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll is like $30. Uber Eats is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, they really prey on hungover people because
the
money is not real when you spend it.
No,
And
it
just the
ain't.
way
You
you're
just
just
need it.
clicking things, priority, tip. Now it's just like, holy shit, at the end of
And
it,
then
you're
Bring
like,
it, bring it, bring it,
we
bring it,
just-
bring it now.
me
Bring
and
it.
Hannah would be like,
Yeah.
I was like, if we just called the Chinese place, it would have been $37, but we ordered on Uber Eats for some reason, and it was $82. Like, what happened here? Where did that $50 go? Where's my money going?
$3.99 at a time. $3.99 at a time.
You know what Uber Eats is good at? Is if something goes wrong, they're so successful that they'll just give you your money back. They don't even want you to explain it. The other day, I had an issue with a Frosty from Wendy's. Sometimes these Uber drivers
be the issue with your.
Sometimes these
Frosty
Uber
from Wendy's?
Sometimes these Uber Eats drivers are getting a little too greedy and they're taking like 3 or 4 fucking orders at the same time. And I realize it. And it's the one time I didn't hit priority because I'm like, it's getting crazy. We're spending $35 on Frosties and fries so we can dip the fries in the Frosty. So I'm like, I'm just going to go regular. It's right down the road. There's no way he's not going to us first. Picks up the Frosties, picks up our, we got the whole meal. We got fucking cheeseburgers, the whole entire deal. And I'm watching him on the app and he goes by our house and he's going to another town. And then he goes to another town. Then he comes to us 45 minutes after and the Frosties are soup. And I'm looking at it. I'm like thinking to myself, how could the system not be built so that if you're picking up ice cream, they know to get it to you first? You know what I mean? Like that's so lazy on that guy's part to not like prioritize
priority,
that shit.
man. Like
Right,
those other people are doing what you do usually. They got to pay for that priority.
Right. Here's the flip side: is they know that, right? They know this guy got ice cream. If he doesn't order priority, I'm gonna go to the other side of the island before I get him this ice cream. So now going forward, I bet you get priority every single time.
That might be it. They might, yeah. I bet you that is what they're doing. Those fucking scumbags.
They're making money.
But
I went on the app.
I'm gonna be paying it every fucking time.
So I went on the app and they said, "Was there something wrong with the order?" And I just wrote yes. I said yes, and it says half of it, one item, whole thing. I wrote whole thing because everything was ice cold and it was soup. And they just gave me full money back and money for another order.
That's how you keep customers.
Good customer
How many
service.
people you think are doing that and they didn't even have a problem? So many people.
Well, you can't.
Right?
They probably put a limit on it. You can't do it every
All right,
time.
but at least you get away with it a couple times. A couple
That's
free
the cost
meals.
of doing business, babe.
It
Uber
is.
Eats is a
Take that in.
huge company.
Huge.
They're making enough money.
Also, this guy said he was on a bicycle and he wasn't. You're not tricking me. I was looking out the window.
All right, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday of next week for our final show of the year. We're going to do predictions. We're going to do a little 2023 review. And happy holidays. After that, we'll be back on January 4th. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.